Within the years 1962 to 1964, 13 women between the ages 19 to 85 tragically lost their life in the Boston area. It was believed that 11 of the victims were attacked by the same person due to the similarities in each case. The belief was that the victims either knew the person, or was tricked into trusting them and letting them into their homes. Some of the similarities include the fact that every victim was sexually assaulted, left nude and on display, and they had the same cause of death: strangulation. That was how the attacker got the name, the Boston Strangler. A few years before these attacks, a string of sexual offenses took place in Cambridge, Massachusetts. A man in his 20s went door to door pretending he was a talent scout looking for models. If the women showed interest, he would tell her that he needed to take her measurements. Once he began measuring, he would inappropriately touch the women. Some of them contacted police about this, and he became known as the Measuring Man. In 1960, a man was caught breaking into a house. He was taken into police custody and gave a full confession to the break-in, as well as a full confession to being the Measuring Man. His real name was Albert DeSalvo. He was sentenced to 18 months in jail, but was released in only 11 for good behavior. After he was released, he continued committing crimes in Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, and New Hampshire. DeSalvo would break into women's homes while dressed in green. He broke into over 400 homes, and sexually assaulted over 300 women. In 1964, one of the victims came forward saying a man pretending to be a detective entered her home and sexually assaulted her. Because of her description, police identified the man as Albert DeSalvo. The newspapers published a photo of DeSalvo, and women began coming forward saying that he was their attacker. He was arrested and sent to Bridgewater State Hospital. While he was there, he made friends with George Nassar, who was there on a murder charge. It was thought that the two of them decided that one of them would confess to being the Boston Strangler, so that they could split the reward money. DeSalvo would confess to his attorney, claiming that he was the Strangler, even describing the crimes with accurate detail. It was for those reasons that police believed that he was the Strangler. However, there was no physical evidence to support these claims. Police even brought in one of the victims who had survived, to try and identify the man. Police brought in both DeSalvo and Nassar for the woman to look at. She said that DeSalvo was not the man who attacked her, but there was something frighteningly familiar about Nassar. Due to the lack of physical evidence and the lack of eyewitnesses, DeSalvo wasn't tried for the Boston Strangler crimes. However, he was sent to prison for the crimes from the Green Man case. In 1967, he was sent to Walpole Maximum Security State Prison. He would be stabbed in his cell 6 years later. He lost his life during the attack. In 2013, Boston police thought that they found DNA evidence that would tie DeSalvo to Mary Sullivan. She had been sexually assaulted and strangled in 1964, and was the final victim of the Boston Strangler. Police took DNA from DeSalvo's nephew, and said it was a near match to the DNA that was found on Sullivan's body. After recovering DeSalvo's body and extracting DNA from his teeth and femur, it was found that he was, in fact, the one who ended the life of Mary Sullivan. The case of Mary Sullivan has been closed, but the case of the Boston Strangler remains, to this day, open to speculation. What do you think? Do you think Albert DeSalvo was the Boston Strangler? Or do you believe that whoever did this got away with it, and went on to live a full life? We may never know. Thank you for watching.